And good day. Welcome to the third and final hour of Take a Stand here today, live from Western Carolina University. We are on our college tour. So far we've had AB Tech Community College, Warren Wilson College, today at Western. Tomorrow we'll be at Montreat College, and then we've got a full slate of schools next week as well. Check TakeStandShow.com for information on the calendar there to see when we'll be stopping at a campus near you. And it's been such a pleasure to be able to meet so many folks, whether it's faculty, administration, or students at these schools so far. And going into this, I wanted to do the tour. The primary purpose of the tour was to raise awareness about the great opportunities and numerous opportunities for higher education in Western North Carolina. And I thought I knew about how many different programs were available and the different disciplines you could study under, and the kind of professionalism that we had available to students across Western North Carolina of any age. But already in just the first week of this tour, I have had my awareness greatly expanded. And so I'm so glad that we were able to do this, and look forward to the next week and a half on the college tour as well. Right now, we have been talking about education all last hour, and talking about societal type things, talking about legislative policy discussions, and even to the point of talking about different morality issues as far as parents and their engagement with their children's education and the investment to such. Well, we're going to go back and talk about the specific campus that we're on right now, and we have a wonderful panel of guests with us right now to introduce you or reintroduce you to the ever-evolving Western Carolina University. And the first guest I want to introduce you to this hour is Dr. John Bardo. He's the Chancellor of Western Carolina University. He came to Western in 1995, and Dr. Bardo holds degrees in sociology and economics, and has written articles for more than 70 professional publications and 2 books on a variety of topics, including community development, technology and education, social and psychological adjustment to migration, and higher education policy. That's pretty diverse. He speaks at events across the nation on issues of technology and education, and the role of higher education in economic and community development. And those last 2 words, community development, I already said at the beginning of the show today, Dr. Bardo, I was so disoriented coming into Western today, because it's been a few years since I've been out here. I didn't recognize it. It is not the same university that it was 5 years ago.
No, it really isn't. We're seeing it not just in the physical plane. That's what most people can pick up on very quickly, but we're also seeing it in the quality of faculty, the quality of students, the nature of the programs that we have, the orientation of the university, all is very different. And it's quite an exciting time to be here. It's really a lot of fun to be on this campus at this time.
Well, and you've been here for the entire evolution of this explosive growth over this last period of history for Western. Let's go back a little bit. Tell me about your first impressions and what drew you to Western.
What drew me to Western, in fact, initially I wasn't looking for a job, but a friend of mine who grew up in Illinois, I was having lunch with him up in Massachusetts, and he said, I know that school, and I know you, and I think the 2 of you ought to get together. So I looked at it and really kind of fell in love. This part of North Carolina has a lot of opportunities associated with the future, and it was very clear that the university had great potential. And so the fun of being in this my kind of role, and for my kind of personality, is to be in an institution that has the potential to go forward. I'm not much of a maintenance person, and it was clear this institution had that. So that's really what brought me here.
Well, it was funny, we were talking before coming on the air, and I was telling you the story of how disoriented I was, that landmarks I was looking for either are no longer there, or they're behind beautiful big new buildings and facilities that are just gorgeous and very functional too. I got a chance to walk around a little bit here in the center, and you were talking about how when you first, you were involved in the improvement of the different projects, the approval of the projects and things, and how you got turned around and lost trying to come in.
Yeah, it really is true. A couple of years ago when we closed the road and created the walking area where the road was, I had been on vacation in the middle of the summer, and I came back and was late to a meeting and couldn't figure out how to get to the building. And I'm sitting in the car going, I approved this. I know that this change happened. I still couldn't find my way around. So
it just didn't look the same in
person
as it did on paper, did it?
It really wasn't.
Well, talk about the future of Western Carolina University. There's such an enormous curve that the school has gone through over the last 10 years. Talk about the next 10 years and what you envision.
I think the next 10 years are going to be more exciting even than the last 10 years. The institution is, Western North Carolina, let's start there. Western North Carolina, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, people weren't even always sure that we were part of the state of North Carolina. They would ask things like Western Carolina is like North or South Carolina. I don't hear that anymore. this is now a cool place to be. Asheville, if you look, Asheville and its environment is one of the coolest places in the country now by a lot of magazines, recommendations on where you ought to live. And that's had a real impact on us. So as you look at the future and you think about what's possible here, we're seeing a major increase in student interest in the university. Our applications are up 60% year to year. It's just an amazing explosion of interest. We're also seeing a much better student, and we're seeing more local students from Western North Carolina who realize that they can get a first-class education here and don't have to leave. And so what we're looking at is how do we help those students? How do we help people of Western North Carolina have the kind of future that they really desire? One where they have a good quality of life and a good environment, where they can be healthy, where they can be safe, where they can have excellent education, where they can have a good job, and where they have really wonderful cultural activities available for them. And that's really kind of where we're trying to position the institution to really be the first-class provider of education in a highly engaged, highly interactive model that causes our people to be out and involved in the broader region.
As we've traveled around Western North Carolina with this college tour, one of the themes that continually comes up and is evident just in the conversations you have with people is the impact that each school has on the surrounding community. Jackson County, Silva has gone through an explosive growth period as well. That's led to a lot of conversations about how does the community maintain its still core kind of values and traditions, and yet still continue to grow for the future. How does Western Carolina fit into that and be mindful of that?
Yeah, one of the things that's really interesting is that really our impact on Jackson County's growth has not been very great yet. It will become much greater over the next 5 or 6 years. Most of the growth in Jackson County has been associated with second home development and the movement of wealth out of Atlanta. And there's a lot of national data on what's happening with that. The wealth of Atlanta is moving north and moving toward Western North Carolina. So that's really where a lot of this has happened. What we really see part of our role, one of the major parts of our role, is making it possible for the people of the mountains to stay in the mountains and be part of the future, rather than what's happening in parts of Colorado where the natives can't be there anymore and they have to be bussed in because they can't afford to stay in the area. And one of our real concerns is how do we help build that base that really keeps the native peoples of this area in ownership of their area. That's a really important part.
And we've talked about that on this tour too, and one of the motivations that I had, I so often sometimes criticize from people in other parts of the state that I'm just so passionate about our region, about Western North Carolina, trying to be a strong voice for the western 17 counties, and in the political sense. But really, whether it's political, economic, social, or anything else, the more that we here in Western North Carolina realize the services and opportunities available and better prepare ourselves as a community, as far as a workforce, as far as professional situations, the more self-reliant we're going to be able to be. You mentioned it used to be that Western North Carolina people, Western Carolina, oh, is that North Carolina, South Carolina? There's still, in the political sense, a lot of people that say, well, North Carolina ends at Hickory.
Right. Well, but we hear that even sometimes North Carolina ends at Winston-Salem, and even sometimes at Greensboro. So I think that's really not the issue that we're hearing anymore downstate. What I'm seeing is a real understanding that things can happen in the West, and that things are happening in the West. They're moving. There's a lot of positive. There's also a lot of potentially negative things, and I'm very cognizant of that. We're very concerned here about the quality of the environment. We have a very strong emphasis in our environmental program in water quality, for example. We're interested in issues around environmental reclamation, but we're also very interested in issues around healthcare, around aging, some of those kind of questions that really can have an impact on quality of life in this region for the long haul. And that's universities are in this for the long haul, and that's very much where our heads are as an administrative team.
All right, and let me introduce our next guest as well, Dr. Sam Miller. He's Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs. Came to Western last August after serving as Associate Vice President for the Student Affairs at the University of Connecticut. Dr. Miller oversees all programs and personnel in the Division of Student Affairs, including residential living, student judicial affairs, counseling and psychological services, and student